It's safe for the Day 4 Dreamers. Welcome and enjoy the storyline on this channel. It's safe for the Day 4 Dreamers. Everyone gathered in the living room of the house, and Shin started the call. At the other end of the line, a woman made sure she was speaking with Zhang Yi, the leader of the area around Zhu Village and the fortified residents. The woman introduced herself as Xiaohong Lian, the leader of the shelter in Yansheng district. Without any small talk, Hong Lian asked about the team she had sent to the factory some time ago, all of whom had been killed by Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi's response remained cold, as if the act was completely justified. When she realized the attack on her subordinates, Hong Lian's anger exploded. She emphasized that in Shanghai, no one dared to challenge her power or the sanctuary of Yansheng. According to her, Zhang Yi's fate was already sealed. Zhang Yi remained calm and mentioned that the last person who tried to threaten him, Chen Xinyan, the former leader of Basi Sishan, had been destroyed by him. Hong Lian refuted that statement, pointing out that Basi Sishan was destroyed by a missile attack, not by Zhang Yi. She considered that claim to be mere arrogance. Zhang Yi then turned the question around, bringing up the real reason behind the missile attack on Basi Sishan. The conversation turned into a show of strength between them. Zhang Yi warned that if Hong Lian realized her position and left his territory immediately, Basi Sishan could still survive. However, if not, her group would meet the same fate as the others. Zhang Yi demanded the prisoners be handed over immediately without resistance, stressing that this humiliation would not be forgotten. Zhang Yi's confidence made Hong Lian even more furious. She threatened to send the prisoners' body parts gradually as a warning. However, that threat did not shake Zhang Yi. Hong Lian, realizing her slight advantage in this situation, asked whether those prisoners were important enough to Zhang Yi or if she could just kill them right then and there. Zhang Yi, because of Lian's presence by his side, finally showed concern and was willing to negotiate. Hong Lian felt more confident after hearing Zhang Yi's attitude and decided to consider her next move. Xiao Honglian accused Zhang Yi of killing her cousin and his army. Now, she has important people in her hands and plans to trade them for the resources that Zhang Yi possesses. More specifically, those resources are the loot from the warehouse in the city before the ice disaster struck. Hong Lian demands half of all Zhang Yi's resources as compensation in exchange for his disciples being returned. However, Zhang Yi flatly refused the demand, considering it impossible to accept. In response to the rejection, Hong Lian stated that the only remaining path is war. He also reminded that Zhang Yi had killed someone from the Koyu base and questioned whether he was capable of facing attacks from two major bases at the same time. That threat did not shake Zhang Yi. With confidence, he asserted that Hong Lian clearly did not understand the extent of his power. If war was the choice, then he would destroy anyone who dared to challenge him. Zhang Yi's loyal followers watched as their leader continued to show his determination. Zhang Yi asserted that those disciples belonged to him and that Hong Lian only needed to hand them over. However, Hong Lian stubbornly stated that the more Zhang Yi forced her, the less likely she was to release the disciples. She even threatened to make them suffer and beg for mercy. That threat made Lian worried. Deep down, Zhang Yi hoped the threat would happen soon, as it was hard for him to keep up his cold attitude. When the call ended, Zhang Yi pretended to be frustrated with the results of the negotiation. He stated to everyone that there was no more room for passivity, and they had to take action immediately. Zhang Yi ordered his strongest soldiers to get ready, emphasizing that this situation was different from the incident at the Sishan base. Their current location was not advantageous if they were attacked, and risking everyone's safety was not a wise choice. However, Zhang Yi's determination to face Hong Lian alone was so strong that his followers tried to calm him down. Even Chun warned that if Zhang Yi kept insisting on doing things his way, it would cause problems. Zhang Yi finally managed to control his emotions, although he still looked upset. Everyone knew that he just wanted to save the disciples, especially for Lian's sake. Realizing Zhang Yi's efforts, Lian tried to calm him down and promised not to involve anyone else in her personal matters. She decided to handle this problem on her own. On the other hand, Zhao Qir was worried that Lian really would act alone. Zhang Yi failed to convince Lian. Chunlei realized that Zhang Yi's acting was very good, but it felt too forced. Everyone knew that such brave words did not match Zhang Yi's true nature, who preferred not to fight if the chances of winning were very small. Even so, at least Zhang Yi tried to show his support for Lian. Zhang Yi's uncle felt that this situation was not his fault. Among them, only Lian Yu cared about those students. Everyone knew that those students were lazy and couldn't survive on their own. Their presence was only a problem for Zhang Yi and Lian. Zhang Yi's team understood the true intentions of their leader. Even though they seemed selfish, they still stuck together because each of them had their own skills and helped each other to survive. Karen was very worried because she knew Lian would not agree with this. Zhang Yi ordered the two women to try to convince Lian not to do anything reckless. Lian was in her room, holding her sword, ready to face the final battle. Xin and Karen went to her room to persuade her. Xin questioned Lian's decision to go to the battlefield, leaving the two of them alone. They were also her students and needed her protection, especially because both of them had no power. Lian's heart was torn. She wanted to save the selfish person. However, she couldn't hold back when she saw Xin's tears as he begged. Xin begged Lian not to rush into making a decision. There was still a chance to negotiate with Bashi Yansheng. With a gentle heart, Lian finally agreed to wait a little longer. After leaving the room, Karen asked Xin what made Lian happy, being loved by Zhang Yi or by Xin. Xin replied that she was only deceiving Lian. Someone like Lian didn't know how to manage her feelings and was often confused. Xin was determined to try to make Lian stay. According to him, someone who is always ready to sacrifice for others is a fool. Besides, making Lian stay would benefit them. Zhang Yi is not someone who cares about lazy people, so they have to do their best to help Zhang Yi succeed. Xin and Karen managed to convince Lian to stay and immediately informed Zhang Yi. He felt satisfied to hear the news because the drug should start affecting the students immediately. Meanwhile, at the Yansheng base, Xiao Honglian learned from one of Lian's students that Zhang Yi had several very strong followers. Honglian realized that if she could recruit them, Yansheng's strength would increase rapidly. Her assistant agreed that with the current situation, it was only a matter of time before they succeeded in getting in. They had to eliminate Zhang Yi's influence over his followers. Honglian planned to seize Zhang Yi's power and resources without having to get involved in a battle. She realized they were taking a risk because the other bases were always on alert. Although her assistant argued that attacking Zhang Yi's fortress was a step worth taking, Honglian felt it was better to do nothing than to make a mistake. She ordered them to record a video as a threat to Zhang Yi. However, something strange happened when the followers started vomiting and feeling dizzy at the same time. Her assistant contacted the female leader to report the situation and ask if there was any way to save them. Honglian quickly recognized the symptoms of poisoning, but was puzzled about how it happened here. Unfortunately, the doctor told them they had been poisoned with a low dose over time, and there was no hope for survival. The assistant was shocked and began to realize what had actually happened. He suspected that the person who poisoned them was Zhang Yi himself, and that they had been trapped by Zhang Yi's tactics. Honglian was confused and began to think that Zhang Yi really wanted to get rid of those disciples without dirtying his own hands. Xiao Honglian ordered to record a video of the surviving disciples as hostages, even though they had been poisoned. If the poisoning wasn't Zhang Yi's fault, the video could still be used as a bargaining tool. Sometime later, Xin was contacted by Yansheng base. Honglian's assistant wanted to know if Zhang Yi was willing to exchange the disciples for food. 1 ton of food for each of them. Zhang Yi watched the torture video, but he wasn't sure if the disciples were still alive. If they could show the disciples alive, he might agree. However, Zhang Yi felt there was no need to prove anything. He firmly said that if he couldn't see them, he wouldn't trade a single grain of rice for a cold corpse. Actually, Zhang Yi didn't want to see them at all, so he decided to hang up the phone. On the other hand, Zhang Yi was convinced that all the disciples were already dead. Xin was curious about how his brother could do that, and Zhang Yi explained that the secret was the poison he had just obtained and put into their food. Xin was asked not to tell anyone about this and just focus on lifting Lian's spirits. When he found out that everyone had been poisoned, Xin felt very happy because he didn't have to see them anymore. At the Yansheng base, Honglian's assistant reported that everyone had died, and Zhang Yi refused their offer. The only option left now is war. 2 days later, Zhang Yi received a video from the Yansheng base showing the results of their actions. In the video, the consequences were clearly visible. Xiao Honglian emphasized that this was a fitting retaliation marking the start of the war. He confidently stated that Zhang Yi would soon experience the same fate as that person. Even though the scene was very frightening, Zhang Yi remained calm and unshaken. He felt satisfied because he finally managed to do it without having to be directly involved. Xin, who watched the video, sighed, and Zhang Yi realized that the girl felt sad. Even though she hated them very much, seeing the final outcome did not make her feel happy. Actually, Xin felt a deep pain in her heart. She felt that one day, in this world, there was a possibility that someone would do the same thing to her. In Zhang Yi's eyes, that person had no value, and it didn't hinder him at all. However, Xin was still a little girl. Even though she seemed mature, her heart wasn't as hardened as Zhang Yi's. Zhang Yi assured Xin that she didn't need to worry. He wouldn't let Xin die, because he himself wouldn't die. The little girl had a very strong mind. Even though her body was tied to the chair, it only made her more determined not to be a burden to her brother. She was determined to be very useful to Zhang Yi. After calming the girl down, Zhang Yi told her that they had to prepare Lian to receive this bad news. Xin had to prepare Lian mentally and give her medicine to calm her mind. Then, Zhang Yi gathered everyone to show bossy Yansheng's response to them. Lian felt anxious that this might be a new offer to save her students. Whatever it was, she would try to get them back. However, when they turned on the TV, Lian was shocked to see it. The scene broke her heart. Zhao Qir and Yang Mi were more surprised by Lian's reaction than by Zhang Yi. Lian fainted, and Zhang Yi explained that he had given her a sedative. He had anticipated this, so now Lian just needs to rest. Even though there was no direct connection to that person, everyone felt sad and knew that Lian was a very dedicated teacher. This situation was a big blow for her. Zhang Yi helped carry the woman to her room. The two girls were asked to take care of Lian and help calm the negative feelings in her heart. Zhang Yi asked Yao Qir to give Lian a sedative to keep her in bed for a few days. Everyone must realize that the battle with Yansheng's base is inevitable. Maybe Chou Yu's base will join as well. Facing attacks from two major bases won't be easy. They must be ready to act according to the training they've undergone. Amid the tension between military bases, the Snow Sect finally took action. A woman far away used her mysterious power. This woman is able to see a person's energy from afar, and what she saw deeply unsettled her. Someone's energy there was the strongest she had ever seen in her life. There shouldn't be anyone like that in the whole city. This old woman has the ability to see a person's energy and awaken their mutant powers that haven't naturally awakened yet. The woman must return immediately to warn the priest about what she had discovered. This man is far stronger than anyone could imagine. At the Yansheng operations headquarters, someone introduced himself and claimed to know Zhang Yi and had worked for him before. At that time, Zhang Yi ordered the construction of a fortress for his company. So this person was involved in the construction process and knew how it was built. This person was the first employee to serve Zhang Yi. Although he was not close to Zhang Yi, his knowledge was very valuable. Now, as a subordinate at Yansheng headquarters, he is willing to help attack Zhang Yi's headquarters. Honglian then gave the team leader position to this man. They believe that Zhang Yi's headquarters is the fortified apartment building he once used. The man claimed that with the right equipment, he knew where and how to cut through the walls of the place to attack. This is good news. But there was something unclear to Honglian. If the headquarters could be breached with the right materials, why couldn't the Qishan base do it, or even destroy Zhang Yi's fortress? The woman was smart and suspected that Zhang Yi's strongest defense was not his shelter, but his strength. Maybe he and his men were so strong that the Qishan headquarters couldn't defeat them. And in the end, they were counterattacked by Zhang Yi and lost. As a precaution, Honglian decided not to try to rob him alone and asked for help from the rival base. He contacted Wei Dinghai and explained that Zhang Yi was no ordinary person. If he managed to withstand the attack from the Qishan base, then they couldn't face him alone. Honglian suggested that they join forces to defeat him. Wei Dinghai was confident in his strength and asked if he and Honglian alone weren't enough to destroy Zhang Yi. The woman thought that it was not a problem. Even so, they shouldn't take that risk. Honglian emphasized that if the two of them worked together, they could even get help from the Qingpu headquarters to share the existing risks, and this would be beneficial for everyone involved. Wei Dinghai understood and admired how cautious Honglian was, and he agreed to follow her ideas. However, this man only wanted priority in obtaining fuel for his troops. Now, we are taken to see the Qingpu headquarters, which is a major force in the industrial area. Their leader and the employees are factory workers. This leader prefers to spend his time feeding his pets, tossing them a piece of bread and watching them scramble for the food. Someone comes to tell him that the woman leading the Yansheng headquarters is trying to contact him. Although he doesn't like getting involved with others, this man decides to listen to what Honglian wants. At the Qingpu headquarters, the leader's daughter is protected by a giant mutant beast. The little girl is cheerful and innocent. Although this man is a ruthless leader at his own base, he is also a caring father. He always reminds his daughter to wear clothes and a shawl when playing in the snow. At the office, his subordinates have been waiting for hours until their leader arrives. The man finally asked what Honglian wanted to talk about. The woman got straight to the point and told him that the Zishan headquarters had been destroyed. Although this information was not new to Qingpu, since their territory was too far away to get involved, the man also said that the Xian region was very vast, and they could start discussing how to divide it. Honglian explained that this was not such a simple matter. Honglian explained that the Xian region was controlled by a very powerful group. This group had already killed soldiers from Honglian's base and Wei Dinghai's forces. Although their numbers were small, every member of this group was a mutant, and they had a shelter that was safer than a military fortress. Even the Zishan base didn't stand a chance against them. The man began to realize the danger. He realized that they couldn't attack recklessly. A long journey to fight in foreign territory could cause them to lose a third of their troops before the battle even began. This is in line with Honglian's goal of wanting them to work together against that powerful individual. The headquarters of Chouyu and Yansheng have agreed to act together. Once Qingpu agrees, they will attack simultaneously. After the three military headquarters reach an agreement, the Snow Sect will also mobilize. The four major powers will unite to defeat that group, and then jointly divide the territories of Xixian and Zhujian. The man couldn't refuse to participate and lose his share of the profits. He then asked what would happen if none of them could break through Zheng Yi's defenses. Honglian revealed that her former employee was the owner of the company that built Zhang Yi's fortress, and they know how to break through its defenses. Even though there were many advantages, Qingpu still needed to think about it. Honglian waited for his response while emphasizing that this was a very valuable investment. After that, she ended the call and sent information about Zhang Yi to the man. Some of the information in the report made him curious. He felt this was not a coincidence. Sometime later, the Snow Sect headquarters had a new development. The person they sent to gather information about Zhang Yi had returned. The old woman said that she was very loyal to the sect and asked them to trust her words. That mysterious individual possessed power equal to the grand leader of the sect and might even be the right hand of the gods. After delivering her report, the old woman asked for permission to return to the temple. Now the situation has changed for them. If this person is truly as powerful as a god, then the other headquarters have underestimated Zhang Yi. Zhang Yishen believes that even if they unite with the other headquarters, they still won't be able to capture him. In this case, they have to join Zhang Yi. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi at home receives a message from someone claiming to be his classmate from school. Zhang Yi recognizes the person and asks how they're doing. His friend tells Zhang Yi that he has now become the head of the Qingpu headquarters. However, the man was not very fluent in conveying that through text messages, so he ended up making a phone call. Zhang Yi tells him that the head of the Qingpu headquarters is named Xing Tian, which means his friend has changed his name. His friend confirms that Xing Tian is a more grand-sounding name. Zhang Yi realizes this is a good sign for him and then asks why his friend is contacting him now. His friend just wants to chat and reminisce about the past. Back then, Xing Tian wasn't good at studying and wasn't as handsome as Zhang Yi. But now, who would have thought he could become so successful? They finally reconnect after years. Zhang Yi agrees to talk in person later. But right now, there's something more important to take care of. his friend tells him that Zhang Yi has killed people from the Yansheng and Chouyu headquarters. And now they are planning to destroy him. For security reasons, they want Qingpu to join the attack as well. If all 4 headquarters unite to attack, Zhang Yi won't stand a chance. News about the unification of the 4 great powers is spreading. It was the last thing on Zhang Yi's mind. Zhang Yi then asks if this call is also a declaration of war. Xing Tian explains that right now, no one will declare war. Instead, they will only launch a surprise attack. This call is just to talk about memories from the past. However, Xing Tian says that to stay out of the battlefield, he needs help. If Zhang Yi provides 10 tons of food, he will not join the war. This request makes Zhang Yi think that his companion Xing is really bold to ask for such a thing. Maybe that amount of food sounds very large for now, but for Zhang Yi, that's just a small part of what he once took from the city's warehouse. Zhang Yi decided not to show that he actually has more than that. He said he needed time to think about his friend's request, who was asking for too much food in such a short time. After that, Zhang Yi pondered. Those 10 tons of food were still less than what he took from the Zhishan base when he looted it. After thinking for a while longer, he realized there was a lot of food he didn't consider that important and could possibly be donated. However, could he trust his friend? To be more certain, he planned to pay part of it before the war and the rest after the battle. Zhang Yi was determined to prepare everything well and fight, hoping to achieve peace afterward. Then, he held a meeting with everyone in his group. Analysis from various perspectives showed that the situation was not as bad as it seemed. The 4 major powers were indeed united. However, in reality, they were more cautious of each other. The groups that were truly determined to go to war were Basi Yansheng and Chouyu. Uncle Yu revealed that the biggest problem was that they were outnumbered. If they had to split up to face the enemy, it would become a problem. Zhang Wei explained that because of the snow, they could only attack from one direction, and that area was the perfect place to launch an attack. Zhang Yi was confident they were attacking at the right time. Zhang Yi outlined his defense plan and reminded them that their goal was not to defeat the enemy, but to hold them back. It was enough to make the enemy fear their strength. After that, Zhang Yi planned to negotiate with the owner of the territory. Chun worried they might break through the first line of defense. They might have the resources to try to break through the defenses and even have powerful mutants. Zhang Yi said that anything beyond the existing plan would be handled with his own strength. Suddenly, the mutant cat sensed someone approaching. Zhang Yi didn't expect anyone to come at that time. He saw someone walking toward him alone. Zhang Yi decided to check it out from the upper floor. Using binoculars, Zhang Yi saw an old woman from the Snow Sect approaching alone. This made him realize that even though her appearance was ordinary, if she came alone, she couldn't be underestimated. Uncle Yu was surprised. He recognized the old woman as the one who gave power to Lin Jian. However, Zhang Yi didn't know what the Snow Sect actually wanted to discuss with him. Xin believed that if Zhang Yi wanted to break the alliance of the 4 great powers, this was the perfect opportunity. The benefits of this meeting would only be known after they made contact. Zhang Yi asked Chun Lei to come out and talk to her. Although Chun Lei felt afraid and claimed that he was the weakest among them all, Zhang Yi denied it. In a snowy environment like this, Chun Lei actually stood out the most. Besides that, Zhang Yi would ensure his safety. Chun Lei finally came out and followed Zhang Yi's orders, trying to prevent the woman from approaching their defensive line. The old woman introduced herself and knew that she was not speaking to the real Zhang Yi. Uncle Yu explained that the woman had the ability to see a person's potential strength. Zhang Yi thought that ability was extraordinary. Zhang Yi then ordered Chen to tell the woman that he did not want to meet her. Whatever she wanted to say, she should convey it to Chen instead. Realizing that Zhang Yi refused to meet directly, she said that her visit this time was under the orders of their leader. There is important information that must be conveyed to Zhang Yi. In 3 days, 3 major forces in the city will attack his shelter. The woman casually mentioned that poor fool intended to attack this beautiful place. Chun Lei was even surprised to hear the old woman's words. She was so fanatical. The woman continued that the gods always spread their love across the land, and this person must be stopped. The Snow Sect will help Zhang Yi. Hearing the old woman's words, Zhang Yi revealed a sinister expression. This fit perfectly with his plan. In Shanghai, the four major powers are fighting each other, with no unity or cooperation. They only care about their own interests and are ready to betray at any time. The more Zhang Yi can divide these powers, the greater his chances of destroying them one by one. Through Chen, Zhang Yi asked if the Snow Sect didn't want to join the attack. The old woman explained that the mission of the Snow Sect was to fight evil forces and spread love. Working together with Zhang Yi would bring more peace. She also said that other factions were afraid of the growth of the Snow Sect. Just like Zhang Yi, they were all oppressed by other forces and struggled to survive under pressure. They had to unite to fight against the hegemony of these power-based organizations. Through Chen, Zhang Yi asked for proof of sincerity if they wanted to cooperate. The woman, who saw Zhang Yi as someone dear to her, sent something she knew he would like. It was a sacred object made from an ice soul. Zhang Yi wanted to know what benefits this object had. The old woman explained that the ice soul had a very simple function. This object can help someone awaken their spiritual essence and become a mutant. For mutants, this object can help them tap into their potential more deeply, making them stronger. The woman claimed that becoming stronger was nothing new to Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi didn't really believe the words of this unfamiliar woman and insisted that she reveal the truth. However, the woman stuck to her stance and said that the ice soul was a sacred object without any side effects. The four major bases have already used this item, and it was with this that the Snow Sect was recognized by the other bases. If this is true, then Zhang Yi is facing an incredible opportunity. Zhang Yi asked Xin to check the documents from the Shishan base to see if they had any records about this. Xin confirmed that the documents mentioned that the Shishan base produced mutants using mysterious energy. According to their report, this is what created the cells to replicate mutants on a large scale. Xin also added that according to the records, the four major bases needed the ice soul to create mutants. This cell does not contain any danger. They are not dangerous substances and cannot be manipulated or implanted into carriers. Therefore, there really is something like what the old woman said. And if this is true, then it will be a very good opportunity. Zhang Yi asked Chen to find out if ordinary people could use the item. Zhang Yi was skeptical that there could be something that good. The old woman explained that the effect of the item depends on the potential of the person using it. Therefore, the woman suggested that the item should be used on someone they didn't know. Chen asked if the Snow Sect wasn't worried that Zhang Yi might refuse to cooperate with them even after receiving the item. The Snow Sect knew that a coalition of various forces would come to attack, even if they couldn't cooperate. Making Zhang Yi stronger and eliminating more members from other forces would be beneficial for the Snow Sect. The woman explained that the Snow Sect would pretend to attack together with the other three bases. The Snow Sect will simulate a joint attack, and when there's an opportunity, they will stab the other forces in the back. Although this benefits Zhang Yi, that attitude makes him feel uncomfortable. However, his principles can't be stronger than his rationality. He finally agreed to cooperate with them. Zhang Yi asked what the Snow Sect wanted from him. The woman stated that they only wanted the right to spread the teachings of the Snow religion in Zhang Yi's territory. This goal didn't make sense to Zhang Yi. However, if that's what they asked for in return, he was ready to accept it. After the agreement was reached, Zhang Yi was now confident in King Pu's neutrality, and the Snow Sect would become an ally. This situation became even more interesting for him. Chen approached the door and asked if it was safe to bring the item in. Zhang Yi absorbed the box into his personal dimensional space. He could assess what was inside the box. It was not a dangerous object. Zhang Yi took more risks than usual and decided to assess the object directly. When the box was opened, a sphere resembling ice was revealed. Zhang Yi was still skeptical and reluctant to believe that this object could unlock special powers in someone. Nevertheless, if this object had the same effect as what happened to Lin Jian, he couldn't just ignore it. Unlike Lin Jian, Zhang Yi had no intention of using this object to help others, but rather for his own benefit. A moment later, Zhang Yi sat thinking about the two ice crystals, which he could use to create two new mutants. The decision became even more interesting because he was surrounded by all the women around him, waiting for Zhang Yi's decision about who would be the test subject and have the chance to become a mutant. Yang Mi, one of Zhang Yi's women, was the first to ask who would be chosen as the test subject. Zhang Wai explained that everyone who had used this item before experienced side effects, and he didn't believe in miracles. To be sure, he wanted to test it on a stranger first, so that the second one's outcome could be confirmed. Even so, Yang Mi was willing to be the test subject. After that, another woman also expressed the same desire. Since Yang Mi was the most determined, she was the one who would be the one to use the ice orb. The woman was very happy to hear that. Among the women who didn't have any power, Yang Mi was considered the most useless in battle. After deciding on that, Zhang Yi reminded them that they had to forget the fact that King Qingpu and the Snow Sect would be their allies. However, there was also a possibility that they would betray them. Because of that, they had to prepare themselves to face threats from all directions, so they wouldn't be cornered if something unexpected happened. A moment later, Zhang Yi was seen conducting an experiment with the ice crystal ball together with Yang Mi. He placed the ice ball on Yang Mi's head, and the result was very surprising. The ice ball released tentacles that spread across Yang Mi's entire face, and the energy it emitted caused Yang Mi to lose consciousness. Zhao Qir will be responsible for monitoring Yang Mi's condition. If Yang Mi wakes up and shows signs of restlessness, Zhao Qir can inject a sedative to calm her down. Although the order was well received, Zhao Qir felt that something made him sad. The clever Zhang Yi realized those feelings and said that he didn't let Zhao Qir be the first to try, not because he cared more about Yang Mi, but because he was worried about the possible side effects. This statement made Zhao Qir happy. Zhang Yi emphasized that Zhao Qir was a very important doctor for the team, even more important than the mutants. Even so, Zhao Qir felt differently. She really wanted to prove her abilities. However, Zhang Yi's words managed to calm Zhao Qir down. Then, Zhang Yi contacted King Pu's headquarters and proposed a change of plans. If they were going to cooperate, Zhang Yi would provide twice the amount of food that King Pu requested, on the condition that King Pu's troops would come to the battlefield and pretend to help the other headquarters. King Pu's leader was confused and didn't see the difference between refusing support and pretending to be present. However, Zhang Yi explained that all he needed to do was pretend to support the attack on the battlefield. Since he felt he wouldn't be at a disadvantage, King Pu's leader finally accepted the offer. He then organized an expedition to collect the reward as agreed, with Zhang Yi paying 1/3 up front and the rest after the war. After the agreement was reached, Zhang Yi ended the conversation. With 2 of the 4 major powers having agreed to cooperate, Zhang Yi still did not rule out the possibility that they could all decide to attack him together. If that happened, he would be forced to abandon the outer defenses and hide in the underground shelter, where the defenses were very strong. If things reached that point, he would make sure that all the parties attacking him would pay a very high price. His thoughts were interrupted by a knock on the door. Zhao Qir informed him that Yang Mi had finally woken up. Zhang Yi hurried to Yang Mi's room with Zhao Qir, and there he found Yang Mi, who was already conscious and panting with an oddly excited expression. Zhang Yi was worried that there might be side effects on Yang Mi after the experiment with the ice orb. However, even though Yang Mi's expression seemed suspicious, her calm behavior showed that there was no danger threatening her. Zhang Yi asked about Yang Mi's condition and what her abilities were. Yang Mi tried to sense her abilities and stated that her ability was to make food that could restore the energy of those who ate it. Even though she now had powers, Yang Mi felt sad because she still felt useless in the upcoming battle. Zhang Yi said that Yang Mi's ability was very useful. With Yang Mi's ability, they would no longer have to worry about running out of energy in battle. Zhang Yi asked Zhao Qir to let go of his cousin and told Yang Mi to rest today and show her full potential tomorrow. Zhang Yi cared for Yang Mi attentively. He was pleased with the abilities Yang Mi had gained, and Yang Mi felt happy with the attention from Zhang Yi. The next day, Zhang Yi contacted King Po's leader and arranged a meeting in his territory. His allies were worried, but Zhang Yi assured them that he was the one who had been attacked. Zhang Yi had full confidence in his plan. Accompanied by his followers, Zhang Yi set out for the now empty Chun village. Xing Tian arrived with his troops, led by his daughter, who rode a giant wolf with great pride. Upon seeing the huge animal, the mutant cat immediately became aggressive. Xingtian's daughter asked her wolf to calm down. Xingtian stepped forward and, with a smile, stated that after 10 years without meeting, they were finally reunited in an unexpected way. He was happy to meet Zhang Yi, who gladly returned the greeting. Zhang Yi brought the prepared food as payment, and Xingtian looked very pleased. He reminded Zhang Yi not to regret giving the food, because cooperating with King Pu's base would bring great benefits. Zhang Yi then reminded Xingtian about the time when Zhang Yi fought with a group of kids from the neighboring class in the past. Xingtian remembered that incident, and the reason for the fight was because the prettiest girl in the class liked Zhang Yi. Zhang Wei explained that 5 people attacked him, and even though he knew there was no chance of winning, he chose to fight one of them, knocking out 3 of his opponent's teeth, even though Zhang Yi eventually lost. Zhang Wei emphasized that even though he had given the food, if Xingtian didn't keep their agreement, he wouldn't hesitate to sacrifice himself to make Xingtian bear the consequences. With a serious expression, Zhang Yi hoped that King Pu's base could fulfill its role well. Xingtian felt confident in his strength and believed that loyalty was the foundation of his life. Assuring Zhang Yi that he could trust him, he promised to give his best when the time comes. Zhang Yi also stated that he did not want to see his former classmate get hurt. After the meeting, the members of the King Pu base left the place, while Zhang Yi's team prepared themselves for the upcoming big battle. Uncle Yu did not rule out the possibility that this person could change his mind in the future. However, Zhang Yi was confident that Xingtian would not change his character even after 10 years had passed, and he would keep his promise. Xingtian did not need to fight him. By simply doing nothing, Xingtian would receive the greatest reward no matter how things turned out. When they got to the car, Zhang Yi realized they couldn't rule out the possibility of betrayal. They still had to prepare themselves for that possibility. When they got home, Yang Mi announced that she had mastered her ability to create food, and Zhang Yi could taste her food. Karen had already tasted the food and thought it was delicious. Leon, who had previously been in a slump, now seemed stable, and Zhang Yi asked if it was because of Yang Mi's food. Although at first Zhang Yi thought it was just a joke, Yang Mi confirmed that the food she made really did provide energy, removed negative influences, and improved a person's concentration. Yang Mi gave Zhang Yi a bowl of food to try, and before eating it, Zhang Yi gave the food to his little cat first to make sure it was safe. Seeing the cat's reaction, which showed no problems, Zhang Yi ate it. It tasted good, and the little cat enjoyed it too. After feeling full, Zhang Yi asked if the effects of the food would wear off over time. Yang Mi hasn't tested it yet, but she thinks that freshly made food has better effects. Zhang Yi's goal now is to collect a lot of food made by Yang Mi and store it in his warehouse, so he won't have to worry about energy in the future. While Zhang Yi is at home with Yang Mi, his enemies are preparing to launch a major attack against the most dangerous enemy they have. Assistant Hong Honglian felt worried when she saw the flag fall from the pole this morning. Considering it a bad omen, Hong Honglian considered it just superstition. But the assistant still felt that this was not just a coincidence. This was the first time since the snow disaster. They gathered so many people, and Basi Xiangsheng's fate could change today. Even so, Hong Honglian didn't say anything. He didn't believe that a small shelter with fewer than 10 people could withstand the entire city's army attacking together. With that conviction, Hong Honglian assured his assistant not to worry, because their combined strength would be unbeatable. However, the assistant still felt suspicious. Maybe the other bases couldn't be trusted. Hong Honglian just laughed when he heard that statement. Indeed, they couldn't be trusted, but everyone was the same, and everyone felt uneasy with the chance to intimidate the weaker ones, especially a target that was so fragile yet attracted so much attention. Meanwhile, in the most comfortable shelter in the city, after learning that the attack would be launched at 2 p.m., Zhang Yi felt ready. So did his group. Zhang Yi told Lian that she could use the special weapon he had just obtained for the time being. They then moved to the positions they had planned. Zhang Yi knew that his strength lay in his abilities as a marksman and strategist. His 4 battle generals moved to the front lines and followed his orders. Inside the residence, the women who supported him also carried out their duties. Yao Yukir, who was the best doctor, was ready with medical treatment. Yang Mi prepared food to boost everyone's energy. Xin was getting ready to control the automated weapons prepared by Karen. If necessary, he had to be ready to incapacitate the enemy. There was a change in Xin. The young girl now felt excited about the possibility of defeating the enemy with her own hands, and felt useful to her older brother. Everyone had to head to their posts immediately and get ready. Zhang Yi reminded them that this battle could end quickly or last a long time. They had to always remember that their lives depended on the outcome. After giving orders to everyone, Zhang Yi climbed up to his strategic position. In this place, which was equipped with bulletproof glass, he could see the entire area while holding his sniper rifle. The ammunition supply he had was enough for this battle. Through communication, he gave the order for Xin to raise the protective glass. With that rifle, Zhang Yi could see his team already in their respective positions. Zhang Yi decided on 2 tasks that needed to be completed. Once successful, he would give the order for everyone to return to the shelter. At the estimated time, the enemy began to appear on the horizon, about 5 kilometers away. He saw their vehicles approaching. Base leader Cao Yu informed that several other bases were delayed, so he would place the truck bomb near the wall to attack at the right moment. Wei Dinghai's assistant then commented that the defense system made of ice was very inadequate and definitely would not be able to withstand the power of their heavy weapons. He added that this situation was very advantageous for Wei Dinghai, who possessed ice abilities, because the more ice there is, the stronger his power becomes. Leader Cao Yu felt confident and intended to defeat Zhang Yi, as well as provide plenty of supplies to his troops. Their soldiers were preparing weapons on top of vehicles to shoot at that weak ice wall. When they arrived, they were shot directly. Before his comrade could warn him about the attack, he was shot dead. Wei Dinghai realized the situation and immediately warned all his troops about the ongoing attack. However, they couldn't do much because they couldn't see the enemy's position and were continuously showered with gunfire. Their troops were overwhelmed by the hail of bullets coming from no clear direction. A sniper tried to find his attacker in the wall area, but there was no one in sight. After searching for a few seconds, Zhang Yi gave a clue about his location. Wei Dinghai, realizing that his troops were overwhelmed, became anxious and used his ability to create an ice mist to hide their position. Zhang Yi, realizing that Wei Dinghai was creating an ice mist, recognized that the enemy's ability was similar to Chun Chunlei's. However, it didn't bother him. Zhang Yi knew that Wei Dinghai wouldn't be able to maintain that ability for long. Wei Dinghai also realized that he couldn't keep relying on the ice mist. He ordered his assistant to search for the sniper's location, because his ability wouldn't last long, and they would soon be exposed again. Not long after, the assistant pointed out the direction and informed him that the shot came from the side of their shelter. Wei Dinghai was shocked to learn that the sniper was able to shoot from a distance of more than 3 kilometers. It was a truly terrifying ability. Wei Dinghai immediately ordered his troops to retreat quickly so they could get out of the sniper's firing range. The troops used the snow fog as cover to retreat. During the retreat, as soon as they left the snow, one of their vehicle's tires was shot, causing the vehicle to stop and get stuck in the snow. The soldiers inside the vehicle panicked and started calling for help over the radio, realizing that if the snow fog disappeared, Zhang Yi would be able to see their position again. The soldiers pleaded for help from their leader, afraid their bodies would be riddled with more bullets. Wei Dinghai ordered his assistant to slow down their movements and help his troops before Zhang Yi found them. The soldiers then got out of the vehicle and ran toward Wei Dinghai, trying to stay within the snow fog he created. However, they quickly began to fall one by one, as if Zhang Yi's shots were automatically tracking them. Wei Dinghai hoped they would keep moving and that anyone lucky enough could reach the vehicle. The wounded soldiers had no chance and had to be left behind. Worried about the fate of the low-ranking soldiers, Wei Dinghai's assistant decided to help them. He jumped out of the vehicle and stood in front of the soldiers, using his power to enhance his physical endurance. Although his body was resistant to bullets due to his power, Zhang Yi's bullets were stronger than expected and caused him pain. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi kept shooting until the enemy was out of his range. At this point, he realized that they were waiting for other troops to launch a joint attack. Zhang Yi communicated with his team, informing them that he had killed dozens of enemies and forced them to retreat for a while. However, they would definitely return when the other troops arrived. Chun admired his leader's strength. Zhang Yi smiled and said that it was an easy task. He also mentioned that long-range shooting was his specialty. If they managed to break through the defensive wall, they would have to fight even harder. However, Zhang Yi calmly said that he could also use divine power if the enemy got closer, so he wasn't too worried. Meanwhile, Wei Dinghai was surprised to hear the report that their losses exceeded his expectations. A soldier reported that they lost one vehicle, and 3 other vehicles were damaged. The leader's face showed deep anxiety. Losses at the beginning of the battle are not a good sign. Zhang Yi is very strong, and this could be a big problem if they have such a skilled sniper. He believes that everyone has a weakness, so Zhang Yi must have weak defenses. He then explained to his troops that once they were inside the shelter, the sniper would not have a clear line of sight. However, according to Wei Dinghai's assistant, this sniper is too terrifying to attack directly. His assistant suggested circling around and approaching the shelter from the opposite side to avoid the sniper's line of sight. Wei Dinghai pondered for a moment and said that he liked the plan, but they didn't need to rush. First, they had to find a place to hide temporarily. His assistant was confused and questioned the point of hiding when Zhang Yi already knew their position. Wei Dinghai revealed his true intention. He stated that Hong Honglian should also experience this sniper attack. Their allies should suffer the same losses. A few moments later, Honglian's troops arrived near the battlefield and were greeted by Zhang Yi. Although Zhang Yi's rate of fire was very fast, a werewolf mutant managed to block most of the shots. Zhang Yi finally found an opponent who was interesting to him. The werewolf realized that the sniper's position was too far away, and Zhang Yi kept shooting. Zhang Yi believed that shooting was not as exhausting as deflecting so many shots, and not long after, the werewolf's body began to show signs of injury. He knew he wouldn't be able to keep blocking for much longer. However, he was sure that the soldiers had already prepared missiles to attack Zhang Yi. Within seconds, the first missile was launched toward the shelter, which should be enough to penetrate it easily. However, Zhang Yi had powers they didn't understand. Using his dimensional powers, he could send the missile to another dimension. The soldiers began to panic when Zhang Yi returned their fire. One of the soldiers shouted, ordering the others to immediately launch the remaining missiles, knowing that if they wasted time, they would all die. In a coordinated attack, they launched all the missiles at once, confident of their victory. However, the missiles disappeared just like before, leaving everyone confused. Zhang Yi then pointed out that their strategy would not work and began firing the absorbed missiles back at them, causing massive destruction. The werewolf, who previously had to face rifle bullets, now had to deflect missiles with his hands to prevent his team from being turned to ashes. Within seconds, the missile struck the ground outside the vehicle and exploded with tremendous destructive force. This greatly drained the werewolf's energy, and he began to breathe heavily. Worried about the condition of his men, Hong Honglian immediately ordered everyone to retreat to avoid further losses. The soldiers began using smoke grenades to block Zhang Yi's view, allowing them to escape in their vehicles without being attacked. However, Zhang Yi was determined not to let them go without suffering losses, stating that they were cowards, just like Wei Dinghai's team. Zhang Yi rained bullets on their vehicles until they were out of his range. Hong Honglian watched and realized that Zhang Yi was not someone to be underestimated. After reaching a safe area, Hong Honglian paused for a moment. Their enemy had a sniper with extraordinary skills and could even counter missile attacks. He couldn't be sure if it was one person or two, but both of these abilities, whatever the case, were equally terrifying. Finally, he understood why this small team was able to face the Shishan base. His thoughts were interrupted by Ting, his assistant, who asked what they would do next. They had firepower to destroy the base's walls. However, they were still 7 kilometers away and didn't know how to get closer. Honglian replied that they shouldn't keep moving forward. It's better to let the other bases pass first, to draw sniper fire and wear down that special ability. He then contacted Wei Dinghai and asked where he was. Wei Dinghai replied that he hadn't arrived yet and asked if Honglian had reached the location. Honglian answered that he was still far away but would arrive soon. While the base leaders tried to bring each other down to balance out the losses, Zhang Yi took the opportunity to attack. Chun suggested that Zhang Yi deal with as many mutants as possible while he and Uncle Yu attacked. Zhang Yi always gave it his all and said he was counting on them to do the same. In addition, he stated that the mutants who had survived this far could not be destroyed with firearms alone. As for the weak ones, he didn't even need to try hard. Zhang Yi said that he deliberately let his opponents know about his ability to retaliate, to make them cautious in using heavy weapons. That way, the defense could last longer. Breaking through the 10-meter thick ice and snow wall would be hard without heavy weapons. With a sly smile, Zhang Yi said that he was really looking forward to the arrival of the next group. Not long after that, Zhang Yi saw the next group arrive, which was the ice worshippers from the Snow Sect. He commented that the 3 major forces were already at the location. Only King Pu's forces hadn't arrived yet. Uncle Yu asked if Zhang Yi didn't say that the Snow Sect and King Pu's faction were allies. If they also start an attack, should they fight back? Zhang Yi said they are allies. However, if they approach the defensive line, they still have to be eliminated. Uncle Yu seemed eager to use the weapon he had prepared. Zheng Yishen arrived with his fanatic troops and ordered them to be ready to attack at any time. If Zhang Yi can't defend himself, he isn't worthy of support. Then, the Snow Sect will join the attackers to destroy him. Meanwhile, King Pei's leader, Tian, was also heading to the battlefield with his team. He was curious about Zhang Yi's request to join another group in the attack. Xin contacted Zhang Yi to inform him that troops were coming from the direction of the mountain. Zhang Yi realized that it was Tian's troops. He told Xin not to worry and to focus on the main force. As time went on, the joint attack began. Vehicles appeared before him, and Zhang Yi was ready to face the attack. However, this time the attack came from multiple directions, making the situation even more difficult. This situation made Zhang Yi decide to reveal one of his trump cards. He then communicated with Xin to immediately activate the defensive weapon. Xin quickly pressed the button to activate the weapon. In an instant, a machine gun emerged from within the ice wall and began firing dozens, even hundreds of bullets at all the enemies present at the location. The firepower of this weapon caused the enemy vehicles to explode, creating total chaos among the opposing side. Seeing this, Zhang Yishan felt terrified, as he had never seen a weapon like that before. Xiao Honglian also felt uneasy. He was well aware that all the heavy weapons in Tianhai City were at the Qishan base, and now he realized that Zhang Yi had managed to steal them. Honglian quickly composed himself and ordered his troops to spread out and keep advancing to break through the defensive line, because he believed it was just an ice barrier that could be easily destroyed once they got closer. He knew that if they managed to break through that defensive line, invading the shelter would become much easier. Meanwhile, Tian observed the increasingly tense situation. He decided to pretend to join the battle and ordered his followers to fire into the air. When a soldier questioned his order because there were no enemies in the air, Tian hit him on the head and ordered him to follow orders without asking questions. Tian reminded everyone that he is a man who keeps his promises. No one is allowed to truly attack Zhang Yi's troops. On the battlefield, the fire grew bigger and soldiers' bodies fell one after another. This made Honglian contact the other leaders, informing them that Zhang Yi's firepower was too strong and she couldn't break through his defense line. Wei Dinghai suggested that they work together to destroy the ice barrier. Honglian agreed, saying that if they managed to destroy the ice barrier, they could win the battle because Zhang Yi was weak in close combat. Wei Dinghai then proposed to lead the attack on the defensive line. Meanwhile, Honglian and her troops would distract with supporting fire so he could destroy the ice barrier. Honglian agreed and ordered her troops to launch a full assault on Zhang Yi's defenses so that Wei Dinghai could destroy the defensive line. Meanwhile, Wei Dinghai got out of his vehicle and activated his ice shield ability. He swam under the snow, heading toward the ice barrier. Within seconds, Wei Dinghai reached the ice barrier and managed to destroy it with a single blow, thanks to the great power of his ice ability. This happened right in front of Chun Chunlei and Uncle Yu, who realized that a fierce battle was about to begin, since Wei Dinghai had destroyed the ice barrier and was ready to invade. Wei Dinghai's troops began to enter the area according to their leader's orders to make way for his forces to pass through. Wei Dinghai placed his hand on the ice barrier and shattered it in an instant. Zhang Yi was shocked to see this, realizing that Wei Dinghai's ice abilities were much stronger than Chun Chunlei's, then ordered his followers to start moving. Wei Dinghai sensed approaching danger and could only save himself at the last second by moving his head to avoid the deadly attack. Even so, he didn't escape unscathed, and the attack knocked him down. The attack injured him, leaving him shocked because the sword strike managed to pierce through his ice armor. Wei tried to dive into the snow, but Chunlei managed to stop him, even forcing him out of the snow. At the same time, Lian quickly launched his sword attack. Lian's speed was so incredible that Wei Dinghai couldn't dodge and got injured. Wei admitted he didn't know Zhang Yi's team had such a strong swordsman and had thought invading the shelter would be easy after destroying the ice barrier. Because of that, he decided to retreat, since his main goal was to destroy the ice barrier, and he had succeeded. Seeing the large number of troops coming, Lian decided to attack them without fear, even though Chunlei tried to calm him down. Zhang Yi observed this situation and knew that Lian was very angry. He believed that his disciples were his motivation. He ordered Chun and Uncle Yu to let Lian fight as he wished, while they protected the barrier wall. Honglian began launching fire attacks, taking advantage of Zhang Yi's troops being distracted by Wei Dinghai's assault. He called his troops to immediately storm the ice barrier without hesitation. Led by a werewolf with extremely strong defenses, Chun began creating an ice barrier, while Mutant Cat unleashed a vibration attack that confused the soldiers and prevented them from advancing, giving Chun more time to complete his barrier. At the same time, Uncle Yu took advantage of the chaos, grabbed his automatic machine gun, and started shooting wildly like Rambo, leaving the soldiers helpless. Meanwhile, Lian, consumed by anger, left the ice barrier and began destroying anything in his path. Suddenly, he was startled by a very strong and fast claw attack. Although surprised by the speed of the attack, Lian easily protected himself with his sword. The attack came from the furious werewolf, who swore not to let Lian cut down his followers like vegetables. Facing a strong opponent, Lian activated his rage transformation that maximized his power. The werewolf licked his lips, intrigued by Lian's strength. Realizing that he was facing someone as unyielding as ice, he decided to attack, thinking that offense was the best defense. However, Lian remained silent, waiting for the right moment to counterattack. When the opportunity arose, Lian attacked and managed to cut off the werewolf's arm, leaving him stunned by the strength he displayed. Lian didn't stop there. With a sharp gaze, he launched a swift attack that finished his opponent before he could react. In truth, Lian silently avenged his students. Meanwhile, Uncle Yu ran out of bullets when a strange mutant approached and wrapped itself around his body, making it difficult for him to move. The mutant cat used its sonic attack, which damaged its target's hearing. With his healing ability and resistance to pain, Uncle Yu took advantage of this opportunity and captured the rubber-bodied man. However, before he could continue, they heard a firm command. Zhang Yi ordered everyone to retreat to the shelter. Lian, with his trophy, returned to the shelter, followed by the others. In the distance, Zhang Yi observed the members of the Snow Sect, who looked serious and unmoving. Confused by this attitude, he ordered Xin to attack them. Some of them were hit by the shots until Zheng Yishen created a barrier. The attack made him angry, and he shouted that the time to act was almost here. Zheng Yishen ordered his troops to start attacking. The soldiers ran into the headquarters, which was already filled with smoke. When Uncle Yu returned, he wondered if they needed to go to the basement. Zhang Wei replied that there was no need to rush, because the shelter's defenses were not easy to break through. As they were talking, the sound of a truck approaching interrupted their conversation. They saw an excavator, and Zhang Yi immediately understood why his enemy was so confident about breaking through his defenses. Instead, it made him even more excited. He grabbed a grenade and threw it accurately at the soldiers and the excavator. He managed to defeat many of his enemies with several grenades, while emphasizing that even if they succeeded in destroying the ice wall, it didn't mean they could advance any further. He kept throwing grenades, taking down many soldiers who approached his position. As the excavator got closer, Zhang Yi realized that the vehicle was being operated by Wu Huiren. At that moment, Zhang Yi understood why the enemy was so confident they could break through the shelter's defenses. When Zhang Yi tried to throw a grenade to destroy the excavator, Chen Jingguan, the rubber mutant, enlarged his body to block the attack and managed to deflect the grenade that hit him. Not long after that, Hui Huiren started operating the excavator, trying to destroy the weak point of the wall. When the excavator reached the shelter, Hong Honglian ordered all troops to attack Zhang Yi, preventing him from interfering with Hui Huiren and the excavator. Zhang Yi was shocked when the AI in the headquarters computer warned him that the shelter was under attack and its wall would soon collapse. Zhang Yi asked how long the wall would hold, and the system told him that he only had an hour and a half. On the first floor, the sound of the excavator drilling into the wall was very loud. Chun Chunlei then asked Zhang Zhang if this was the right time to go to the underground bunker. Meanwhile, Wei Dinghai and Xiao Honglian felt satisfied with the results they had achieved. They were very close to storming their biggest enemy's headquarters. Even though the losses they suffered were huge, as long as they could obtain Zhang Yi's resources, it would already be considered a victory. At that moment, victory seemed certain. A member of the Snow Sect was seen running toward the troops, capturing them, and giving the soldiers warmth in the cold. This surprised Wei and Honglian. They received a report from their soldiers, informing them that members of the Snow Sect were attacking them. After hearing this, Wei Dinghai began to realize that this war would be much more difficult than he had imagined. When he looked to the side, he was surprised to see a girl flying and controlling 2 cars with her mental abilities. With full confidence, Zhang Yixian launched the car toward the enemy without hesitation. Of course, that attack wasn't enough to defeat them, and the enemy quickly put up a defense. The girl looked very satisfied, saying that this was revenge for their previous attack on the Snow Sect. Zhang Yi noticed the explosion among the enemy troops and felt pleased. This meant that the Snow Sect had kept its promise, which benefited him greatly. Inside the shelter, everyone was enjoying a special meal from Yang Mi. After they replenished their energy, they immediately went out to help the members of the Snow Sect clear out all the enemy troops. Meanwhile, Tian was surprised when he realized that the Snow Sect had formed an alliance with Zhang Yi. He felt very happy. Without the Snow Sect members' sacrifice, his troops would have died too. After the death of most of the soldiers from the other major factions, King Pu's base would become the largest military force in this city. On the battlefield, Uncle Yu and Chun handled long-range attacks with their exceptional abilities, while Lian dealt with close combat, taking down enemy faction soldiers. Zhang Yi, with a sly smile on his face, felt very confident about victory. He used a precision sniper rifle to attack the mutant soldiers who couldn't withstand the power of Zhang Yi's assault. Hong Lian realized that Tian still hadn't appeared and began to suspect that Tian might have escaped or even betrayed them. Wei Dinghai said that the worst case would be if Tian attacked them. Just like the Snow Sect did, Hong Lian felt desperate and ordered a retreat before they were truly destroyed. However, retreating would not be easy because members of the Snow Sect were blocking their path. Hong Lian took a sip of her drink and used her fire ability to clear the way. But the overwhelming number of enemies left her exhausted and out of energy. Even so, she kept fighting with the help of Wei Dinghai, and eventually they managed to reach the car and escape, saving some of their soldiers. However, among the soldiers who were saved, Hui Ren, the excavator driver, was not there. He tried to escape, but Zhang Yi coldly shot him in the head. After the battle ended, the Snow Sect led by Zhang Yixian began to celebrate their victory. Zhang Yi saw that Snow Sect followers weren't afraid to die, as they blew themselves up among enemies. He concluded that he should avoid trouble with them in the future, because any battle with them would be very costly, even if he managed to kill many enemies. Zhang Yi contacted Tian and offered the remaining resources. However, Tian said he was busy with something important and would come later. Zhang Yi went down to check on his team and found them in good condition. He told them to rest because they had won. In the midst of the celebration, only Lian still felt angry. Zhang Yi tried to calm her down, saying that the battle was over and they had avenged her disciples. Lian fainted from exhaustion, and Zhang Yi immediately caught her. He realized that Lian had been very reckless for facing the troops alone. He carried her inside, realizing that Lian was seriously injured, and asked Yukier to immediately provide medical treatment. Zhang Yi laid Lian on the bed, and Yukier immediately began treatment. Zhang Yi then spoke to the members of the Snow Sect, stating that the Shishan base and the surrounding area were now under his control, and no one was allowed to approach without his permission. The girl accepted the terms and thanked Zhang Yi for helping to win this war. According to the agreement, no followers of the Snow Sect, except for the missionaries, are allowed to approach this land. The girl expressed her gratitude on behalf of all the sect members and hoped they could live together in peace. Zhang Yi agreed to that, saying that he was also a believer in peace. Zhang noticed that the Snow Sect had many members, even though their recruitment had been restricted by other bases. With their newfound freedom, the Snow Sect would flourish rapidly. Although this would become a major problem for Zhang Yi in the future, he had no other solution to win the battle against the military base. He approached the body of the member with abilities and was surprised, as he couldn't absorb their energy. He decided to store the body until he figured out what was happening. After storing the body, Zhang Yi ordered his followers to go inside and rest while he dealt with the wounded enemy soldiers. The mutant cat jumped onto his back, feeling happy to be by the side of his powerful master. Meanwhile, far away, the troops from Yansheng and Cao Caoyu's base paused for a moment. Wei Dinghai was very angry because the Snow Sect and Qingpu base had betrayed them. Hong Honglian was also very angry, thinking that Tian must have received a lot of resources in return for the betrayal. When Hong Honglian tried to contact Tian, Wei stopped her and asked her to calm down. Wei Dinghai explained that only the Snow Sect had officially betrayed them. King Qingpu's troops did not attack. They only observed from a distance. Wei Dinghai did not try to justify Tian's actions. However, he knew that Tian was a coward who avoided confrontation. Hong Honglian, who was still upset, replied that Tian had broken the agreement and must pay for his actions. Wei Dinghai then reminded them that they were in a very desperate situation, with many wounded soldiers. If they tried to confront Tian, they could end up trapped in a battle that would completely destroy them. Before they could continue their conversation, a loud noise was heard from Tian's troops and his pet. Hong Honglian got out of the car in anger and immediately confronted Tian, demanding an explanation for why he was there now. Tian calmly explained that Hong Honglian and Wei Dinghai's base had many resources, and he only wanted a small portion of them. Wei Dinghai, who was already very upset, mentioned that Tian could have gotten those resources if he had allied with them instead of betraying them. Tian explained that his base was weaker compared to the others, and even though it was developing, it would be difficult to maintain control. Therefore, he accepted Zhang Yi's offer and made a peace agreement in exchange for 10 tons of resources. Now, he is ready to accept food as part of the peace agreement with them. Otherwise, they will fight soon. Meanwhile, at Zhang Yi's shelter, a party is taking place. Zhang Yi ordered his followers to eat until they burst. He then brought food to Yao Yukir and used the opportunity to check on Lian's condition. Yao Yukir said that the operation was successful, and since Lian is a mutant, she will recover quickly even though her wounds are quite deep. Zhang Yi, who is known as a villain on the battlefield, gently held Yao Yukir's cheek and stated that he is very important because of his extraordinary medical skills, and no one can replace his role. At the Snow Sect headquarters, the leader of the Snow Sect was waiting for Zhang Yixian's team to arrive. Zhang Yixian reported that they had successfully completed the mission and inflicted significant damage on Cao Caoyu and Yansheng's base. Yuan Kongye felt pleased and expressed his gratitude for their efforts. However, Zhang Yixian felt sad about the loss of many sect members, including 2 high-ranking priests. Yuan explained that their deaths were heroic acts and that heroes never truly die. Yuan was very enthusiastic about the possibility of expansion. Now, with the power of the other bases weakened, Yuan stated that he wanted to recruit everyone in Tianhai City into the sect. Inside Zhang Yi's bunker, the girls enjoyed their leisure time, each with their own entertainment. Lian went downstairs to get something. Meanwhile, Chun wanted to know if Lian was feeling better. Lian didn't answer and left immediately. Karen stated that she needed time to recover her body and mind. Zhang Yi said Yansheng and Cao Caoyu's bases were badly hit, so there wouldn't be major activity for some time. As he spoke, Zhang Yi looked out the window and was surprised to see that the outside looked clean, with no sign of the bodies that had been there the night before. In less than 10 hours, everything had been cleaned up. Zhang Yi used the binoculars to scan the area and was surprised to see it empty. He wondered if the changes in the world could cause dead people to turn into zombies, like in horror movies. To verify his theory, he immediately put on his clothes and went out, without explaining the real reason to his followers, so as not to scare them. He only said that he would find something quickly. Outside, he found many footprints in the snow, from more than 1,000 people. All of them were moving away from the shelter. No one had entered the area, but some people had left it. This could only have a frightening explanation at that time. The body had risen and moved on its own. Not long after, he heard a sound behind him that frightened him. When he turned around to see what was happening, he found nothing. It seemed that the fear of zombies was starting to take over his mind, but he quickly calmed himself, telling himself that he didn't need to be afraid because he had killed living people and could kill zombies too. He kept following those footprints for a while, realizing that they were all moving away from the shelter. After a while, he returned home to tell everything to his allies. Before starting, he asked everyone to take a deep breath and relax so they wouldn't panic, because what he was about to say was something you could only see in movies. He said that thousands of bodies outside the shelter had disappeared, and there was no sign of their existence anywhere. Those bodies might have risen and walked, which made some people wonder if Zhang Yi was joking. Chun thought Zhang Yi had moved the bodies as a joke, but Zhang Yi insisted that he was serious and felt surprised. To find out what really happened, Zhang Yi asked his followers with special abilities to get ready, because they would investigate the footprints together. After eating, they got into the car and followed the footprints in the snow, until they finally reached an underground tunnel. They got out of the car and approached slowly, not knowing what they would face. As they got closer to the tunnel, they were surprised to see human footprints inside. Chun suspected that someone with the ability to control those bodies was behind this incident. Lien suggested that it might be possible, but it was very unlikely, because controlling 1,000 bodies at once was almost impossible to do. Chun started to tremble and asked if they were dealing with zombies like in the movies. Zhang Yi replied that he wished they were just zombies, because zombies would never be more dangerous than humans, especially in cold conditions, where they would gather together and be easy to detect. Zhang Yi said that if there really were zombies, it would be better than facing someone who was controlling those bodies. Uncle Yu finally recognized the place as the Jiayuan residential complex, where he had lived for a while. He explained that the tunnel led to the subway station. Zhang Yi realized the situation. The tunnel had been dug a long time ago, and zombies could have entered it or fallen in by accident. Lien suggested that there might be someone controlling those bodies and living in the subway station to avoid the cold temperatures outside. Uncle Yu, who was confused about what to do, asked Zhang Yi for his opinion. If they enter the tunnel without caution and find that someone is controlling the body, they will have to face tens of thousands of zombies. Even if they are only facing zombies, it's likely that they are tens of thousands of Tianhai residents, which still makes the situation difficult. Zhang Wei realized that in both situations, the risk was too high, and decided to stay away from that place and avoid the situation. At Zhang Yi's old building, Lin Jian was visited by an old woman who could sense the power of the Snow Sect. Everyone welcomed the woman with great respect. The old woman said that Lin Jian had managed to control the power of the snow god. This indicated that Lin Jian was an honest person. She also conveyed that the leader of the Snow Sect wanted to meet him soon. The woman explained that they were close to creating a utopia, and Lin Jian deserved to be a part of it. Lin Jian was advised to pack his things and bring his family if he wanted to join. The sect leader greatly appreciated his abilities and believed that his strength was very much needed. Lin Jian bowed and thanked him, praising the great snow god. He was willing to offer his strength to them. However, before he could pack his things, the woman warned him that the sect leader wanted to meet him directly right now. Lin Jian intended to wait for his wife and child who were getting ready. However, the woman assured him that the sect would take care of that later. The residents asked Lin Jian not to worry because they would take care of his wife and child. Lin Jian was asked to leave immediately and answer God's call. They then walked toward the large church in the village, the place where the representative of the snow god was waiting inside. Lin Jian was surprised to see that the leader of the sect was a woman, as if she could guess what Lin Jian was thinking. The old woman explained that the image of God is everywhere and depends on who sees it. Lin Jian didn't question it. He just introduced himself respectfully. The grand leader of the Snow Sect acknowledged that Lin Jian did indeed possess great power, just as she had been told before. From that moment on, Lin Jian would become a priest in the Order of Snow. Lin Jian felt his blood surge with excitement. Then he bowed. He declared that he would give everything and hoped to learn much from the master. The sect leader, satisfied with the result, asked Lin Jian to follow him to another place. Lin Jian was surprised because he did not expect this. In front of him stood a large tree. Its trunk expanded and contracted gently, as if the tree was breathing. The Grand Leader explained that this tree was a sacred tree he had learned to cultivate. This tree can root hundreds of meters deep into the ground, absorbing nutrients and then bearing fruit. This fruit is very important to them, and then he offered the fruit from the tree for Lin Jian to try. Lin Jian ate the fruit, which turned out not to be white inside. Lin Jian felt his body become light and full of energy. His hunger and cold disappeared just like that. Yuan Kongye then gave Lin Jian the task of cultivating the sacred tree with his abilities. Only by doing so could the tree grow stronger so they could feed more followers. Lin Jian gladly accepted the order from the sect leader. He approached the base of the tree and wounded his finger. Even though it was just a small cut, his blood flowed profusely like a river. The sacred tree eagerly absorbed every drop of blood that came out. Yuan went to the tree and healed Lin Jian's finger. He ordered that from now on, he must use his blood every day to feed the sacred tree. This is his noble mission. Meanwhile, elsewhere in this frozen world, Zhang Yi's home was warm and full of life. Everyone was training hard to become stronger and healthier. Chun was doing his best, because he was the weakest among them. All his allies who were skilled fighters were powerhouses in their respective specialties. That's why he went back to working hard. He tried to replace fat with muscle. Zhang Yi approached him and advised that strength would grow stronger if he kept training. But more importantly, he had to have intelligence and focus on that. They had to treat their strength like a weapon, by strengthening their minds to control it. Chun was surprised to hear Zhang Yi's words. He realized that a pebble thrown by an expert is stronger than a shuriken thrown by an ordinary person. Now, Chun Lei realized that he had been too focused on physical strength and his rugged physique. His focus now is to explore the maximum potential of his abilities. A month passed, with lots of training at Zhang Yi's headquarters and frequent assemblies at the Snow Sect. In the most unexpected place, something happened. At the ruins of the Zishan base, a horde of zombies began to emerge from the bodies left behind since the destruction of the base. At the shelter, Xin was talking with Zhang Yi about the Qingpeiwu base. It seems that they continue to choose a safe defensive strategy, with no intention to attack or carry out external invasions. They are satisfied with their current territory. After repeated mistakes in the Battle of the Five Armies, leader Wei Dinghai was seriously injured and became more cautious, continuing to retreat along the defensive line. This even allowed other armed forces to emerge in their territory. As for the Snow Sect, they could be considered the biggest beneficiaries of that great war. Their members grew rapidly. It's likely they already have tens of thousands of followers. Xin wanted to warn his leader about the dangers still posed by other bases. However, Zhang Yi didn't see it as a threat. He didn't consider the Snow Sect a danger to them, and didn't believe that their leader was strong enough to mobilize so many people. At that moment, Xin used his superior intellect to convince Zhang Yi. He explained that the world was currently on the brink of destruction, even harsher than the era of chaos. Usually, at times like this, the world order undergoes major changes. Xin stated that he knew Zhang Yi didn't have big ambitions. He just wanted to live a stable, decent life. However, that doesn't mean the world is simply open to them. Other strong people also have the same thoughts. Xin told him that the Snow Sect would quickly become the greatest power in Tianhai without using violence. When their followers are numerous enough and their doctrine is widespread, even the three major bases or some among them could be assimilated. Xin was sure they wanted to build a new world order in the future. However, Zhang Yi still didn't believe it and thought the idea was ridiculous. Xin wanted him to understand that this was no joke. In extreme situations, people will try to seize every opportunity to survive. Zhang Yi acknowledged his argument, but he still believed that just having a lot of people was not enough to dominate everything. In the face of a powerful force armed with modern weapons, they still couldn't gain an absolute advantage. Xin reminded him that Yuan Kongye could create new mutants. Zhang Yi admitted that mutants are just stronger humans, but only a few of them are truly strong enough to be feared. Zhang Yi began to change his mind and realized that he had to stay alert against the Snow Sect. Their conversation was interrupted when Zhang Yi saw something outside the base. A horde of zombies was heading toward their bunker. He ordered Shin to warn everyone and gather in the living room to get ready for battle. He would go out for a moment to check what the alarm had detected. Shin felt confused, wondering where those thousands of people had come from. With so many people, could it be that other bases had united to attack Zhang Yi again?
Thank you for following the storyline this time. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this content, so you won't miss updates on other exciting comic storylines. Since I produce everything by myself, it takes time to prepare new videos. So please be patient. If there's a comic you want to discuss, just write it in the comments section. See you in the next video.